I remember countless times where I actually worked up the courage to talk to a girl or did all the hard work of going up to her and getting her number and getting her on the date, but then just completely fumbling the bag from there. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, what's the best way to start off this video? And the only appropriate way I think we could start it off is by telling you a story of a time where I screwed this up and had to learn this lesson the hard way. So it was back during my junior year of college. There was this one girl who I was taking out on a date. And I remember before the date just saying to myself, like, oh my gosh, this girl is so amazing. Oh, I really hope I don't screw things up. So I went into the date all tensed up, and then I finally got to talking to her, and all that tensity, all of that uncertainty came out in the interaction. I remember sitting there, like sitting next to her, I'm like glancing over at her, like making like side eye contact with her, thinking like, fuck, what do I say? So I started just asking random question after random question. Oh, what do you do for fun? Oh, how many siblings do you have? Oh, what's your favorite place that you've gone on vacation? Just treating the date like a fucking job interview. And then I remember she looked over at me and she said like, oh yeah, this doesn't feel like a date. This feels like an interview. And do you think I ever saw this girl again? No. So here's a few lessons that I learned from this experience and a lot of other experiences that I've taken to actually improve my dating life and get to a much better spot. Number one is you have to keep things fun and playful. And the way I like to think about this, right, is when you hang out with your friends, are you just sat there asking your friends boring question after boring question? Oh, how did your weekend go, man? Oh, what do you like doing for fun? No, when you're with your friends, you're cracking jokes. You're having fun. You're roasting each other. You're, saying some controversial thing. Now, obviously, right, there are maybe some parts that you don't want to say around women, like maybe keep some of those to the boys, but overall, the way you want to approach your interactions with women is really the same way that you approach them with your boys, right? Because the most important thing to women is whether or not they're having fun with you, right? If a girl goes on a date with you and the whole time she's just, answering boring question after boring question, she's gonna think to herself like, yeah, that guy was fucking boring, talking to him felt like staring at fucking paint drying on a wall. Compared to if you just go on a date, and you're making her laugh, you're smiling, you're having a good time, maybe you make fun of her a couple times. She's gonna associate the feeling of laughing, of having a good time with hanging out with you. And that's ultimately what you want at the end of the day. You want women to associate you with fun. Now you might be saying, oh, but like, I just don't know how to be that guy, which brings me into number two. You have to trust your intuition. You see, I remember so many times where a joke would come to mind, or I'd think of something to say to the girl, or maybe even want to, flirt with her a little bit. But then I'd start getting in my head saying, oh, what if she doesn't find it funny? Oh, what if I get rejected? So I would just be boring, right? I would just not say those things and, wonder why I got rejected. But you got to understand that if you want to be magnetic, if you want to be confident, you want to be attractive, you want to separate yourself from the crowd, you have to be willing to say the things, to do the things that maybe some people aren't willing to do. Because if you're willing to be authentically yourself, if you're willing to not care about judgment, to say that funny joke, to make that flirtatious comment, what does it do? It separates you from the guys who aren't willing to do that. And she's gonna say like, damn, like, I love this guy's authenticity. I love how he doesn't really leave anything behind. Now, with this being said, okay, of course, there might be some girls who maybe you make a joke, she's super like politically correct and she doesn't like it. And she says, oh, like, you shouldn't say that. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Or maybe you do flirt with a girl and she's not really feeling it and it doesn't go well. So it's not always gonna work. But with that being said, I can guarantee if you don't take any chances, you will fail. If you don't take any chances, you just sit in this little comfort zone, you're gonna keep going through the same painful rejections that you've always been through. So you have to understand, it won't always work. There will be some that fail. But with that being said, the women who actually love you for you, who actually want to be with you, are gonna find that authentic version of you attractive. That's the version of you they want to see. So don't sit here and go, oh, I hope I don't say the wrong thing. Oh, I hope I don't push her away. Because the only way you'll find the right girl is if you are authentically yourself. Now, last but certainly not least, number three, you have to stop putting women up on a pedestal, okay? When I think back to the story we talked about earlier, one of the main reasons I struggled a lot with confidence and I was so in my own head was because I was so worried about impressing the girl, right? Going into the date, I was saying to myself, oh, I really hope I don't screw things up. Oh, I really hope it goes well. But when you're putting that performance anxiety on yourself, that's what's going to cause you to screw up. Because think about it like if you're an athlete, right? And you're going into a sports game saying, oh, I really hope we don't lose. Oh, I really hope we win. That version of you is not going to play confident. He's not going to play as his best self. But the version of you who just goes into the date saying, I'm just going to be me and hopefully it works out. Hopefully it goes well. But if not, I'll be completely fine. That version of you is going to be so much more confident, because what you got to understand about dating is you shouldn't view it in this way where you're trying to impress a girl, right? Where you're trying super hard to win her over. You have to see how she can impress you as well. See how she can win you over, because dating is a two-way street, right? It takes two to tango, you know? You can't put all the pressure on yourself to succeed. There's going to be some dates that don't go well. There's going to be some dates, you know, some women that aren't really meant for you. And I don't say that to make you feel bad or to make you get nervous or to be negative. I say that because it's just reality, right? You have to go on bad dates. You have to have bad experiences in order to get to the good ones. But the version of you who just sits in his comfort zone, who doesn't put himself out there, who doesn't go for the girl he wants, who doesn't go approach her, who doesn't go on that date, that version of you will never find the right girl, will never have a good dating life. But the version of you who just focuses on having fun, right? And just enjoying the experience and not really taking himself so seriously, that version of you will eventually get to where he wants to be. So yeah, with that all being said, bro, if you found this video helped you out and you want to take your dating life, your confidence to the next level, become that best, most attractive version of yourself, go book a free call with me in the description down below and we can chat and see how we can get you started on your journey. And yeah, I'll see you for the next video, bro.